To the family. Cora Lane's voice cut through the hum of the festive living room, sharp as a freshly honed blade. Except for Hadley, of course, our little titan of finance, who mistakes her bank balance for personal worth. Martha and Arthur, her parents, chuckled, their laughter echoing the sentiment. I sat there on the worn armchair, the premium vintage Cabernet I'd purchased resting untouched beside me, in a house whose upkeep I largely funded. My expression remained impassive, not a single muscle twitching. I simply raised my own glass. Into the perceived failure, I articulated, my gaze locking onto Cora's, who just ceased underwriting your entire existence. Then I drank, not wine, but the nascent taste of absolute control. For years, I believed affection was a commodity bought and paid for. If I wired enough funds, settled enough invoices, patched over every financial fissure they deliberately ignored, perhaps they'd finally utter those elusive words, "We're proud of you." But in this family, obligation was the currency, and unspoken grievances accrued as insurmountable debt. It began subtly. Cora's rent was inexplicably forgotten for the third time. Martha needed assistance with an urgent vehicle repair bill. Arthur's investment portfolio had mysteriously evaporated. I was clearing six figures by 32. They understood I'd acquiesce, so the requests multiplied, relentless, until aid transformed into an inescapable burden. I became their personal financial institution, dressed in bespoke suits. I rationalized it as love. This was simply their unique way of loving, brusque, sardonic, tight-lipped. Then I saw the message. Cora had left her phone unattended on the antique coffee table while fetching another bowl of snack mix. The screen glowed with an open group chat, cheerfully labeled Holiday Haters. How charming. Martha's message read, "Hope Hadley doesn't show up in one of her stuffy power suits again." Cora's immediate reply, "She'll probably look like a walking corporate prospectus." Arthur added, "But she brings another one of those artisanal desserts nobody touches." That was the precise instant everything shifted. There was no outburst, no welling tears, just in profound, chilling stillness. I returned to the living room with a serene smile, finished my slice of pumpkin pie, and then meticulously crafted my strategy. They imagined their entanglement with my financial instruments was impenetrable, like an ancient ivy on a decaying wall. But every single asset, every service was legally tethered to my name. The deed to the property was solely in my possession. The luxury sedan, leased under my pristine credit. Utilities, comprehensive insurance policies, mobile phone plans, even the Wi-Fi password. Every thread led back to me. I didn't succumb to fury. I merely commenced the methodical severing of ties. I contacted the bank, placing an immediate hold on all co-signed credit lines. The utility accounts were meticulously transferred into their names. The leased vehicle, legally still mine, was quietly returned to the dealership. Every streaming subscription they had freely accessed like digital parasites was terminated. It took a single, quiet, meticulously executed week. Thanksgiving Day arrived. I purposefully made a late entrance, dressed head to toe in a sharp, obsidian ensemble. They'd always mocked it, claiming I looked as if I were attending a somber ceremony. Today I was. Cora greeted me with her customary sneer. "You actually made it." We almost began without our resident financial oracle. I offered a small, enigmatic smile, placed my store-bought cheesecake on the side table, and said nothing. They had arranged a small, child-sized folding table for me in the cramped corner by the coat rack, a long-standing tradition. I didn't bother to inquire why. The answer was already glaringly obvious. Dinner was a cacophony of boastful pronouncements, thinly veiled insults, and cheap wine poured from bottles I had purchased. Not a single word of appreciation was uttered. And then Cora rose, her glass held aloft, her voice thick with veiled malice. "To the family," she declared. "Except Hadley, of course," they echoed with a ripple of laughter. This time I felt nothing. I stood, my own glass raised. "To the perceived failure," I stated, my voice clear and unwavering, "who just stopped underwriting your entire existence." A profound silence descended, thick and suffocating. Cora blinked slowly, her sneer faltering. "What in the hell is that supposed to mean?" I reached into my sleek leather portfolio, extracting a sheaf of legal documents, and laid them precisely beside the gravy boat. "The mortgage," I began, Each word a deliberate hammer blow, is now solely in your names due Monday. The car? Check the driveway. It's gone. Your mobile plans have been canceled. Your joint credit cards are frozen. And the internet service? It concludes precisely at midnight tonight. Martha's fork clattered loudly onto her plate. Arthur's face turned a deep, alarming crimson. Cora snatched up the papers, as if her desperate grip could somehow undo their devastating implications. "You're bluffing," she hissed. I leaned in, my voice a low, confident murmur. "Go ahead. Call the bank." They began to unravel in mere seconds. Martha immediately resorted to her usual tactic, weeping about my cruelty, my selfishness, my excessive dramatics. Arthur, his voice a low growl, informed me I would undoubtedly regret this decision. Cora, resorting to profanity, swore I'd be crawling back, insisting I desperately needed them. I offered no reply. I simply retrieved my portfolio, left the cheesecake untouched, and walked out the front door, my spine held perfectly straight. It has been 3 weeks. Cora's credit rating has plummeted. Martha called, dissolving into tearful hysterics when the electricity was finally disconnected. Arthur left a voicemail, one long, drawn-out sigh, followed by an abrupt hang-up. They continued to claim I shattered our family, but no, I merely ceased financially sustaining their elaborate, comfortable lie. They branded me a failure, yet failures don't write the checks, and they certainly don't walk away without ever glancing back.